And we live.
Back again, shrewd news and reviews, talking about wealth, health, deeper understanding the
Deep
self.
above all else, man.
Let's start with YSL before anything else. You know,
Yeah. So
Young Thug is selecting the jury. Let's get right into it. So, just to give us some context here.
Question. Would you build a website
After
for a
the
major brand
commercial, of
with
course.
more than 200 million users?
Here we go.
Jury selection is now underway as rapper Young Thug and 13 other defendants stand trial in Fulton County accused of running a criminal enterprise. 11 Alive's Bobeth Yates is at the courthouse in Fulton County for us now. Bobeth?
Well, we have confirmed today that rappers Killer Mike, Birdman, Lil Wayne, Future, as well as Rich Homie Quan are among those who could potentially be called as witnesses. But before that trial gets started, they have to seat a jury. That process is still underway right now in the courtroom. And what I'm told is it could take weeks. Rapper Young Thug was front and center today for the start of jury selection in the Young Slime Life RICO trial.
What's going to happen in just a few minutes is you're going to watch a video that has the instructions for this particular trial that you've been summoned for.
The 14 defendants facing trial listened this afternoon as their indictment was read aloud to 200 potential jurors.
YSL is a criminal street gang that started in the late 2012 in the Cleveland Avenue of Atlanta, Georgia. YSL claims affiliation with the National Bloods gang.
The defendants maintain YSL is simply a record label, and alleged prosecutors are targeting them for their lyrics, which often describe violence in the Cleveland Avenue neighborhood. The judge reading.
Well, that's interesting that they say that. I'm going to stop it right there. But they're talking about that Young Thug, that you just heard there, that Young Thug's defense is that this is just a record label. But we've already heard people testify in court that YSL is indeed a gang. One of those people being Gunna. There's YSL Obama. We also have Chris as a witness, aka Christian Eppinger. So looks like there's a tough road ahead for Young Thug. He might just be out of there. Another interesting turn that we saw is Lil Wayne, Birdman, Rich Homie Quan. Those are all witnesses. They're on the witness list for the state side. Do you think those guys are going to show up?
I don't think they're gonna show up. They don't want this on their name. But what's kind of interesting to me is all of those guys that testified that they got, that it was all of this, they did get released. They got, some type of blessing. So it's like, I don't know if
blessing.
Yeah.
30 years probation you would describe as a blessing. How do you even do 30 years probation?
Listen, that should be. I would just go ahead and take the little 5-piece. You feel me?
I would have been trying to negotiate from that standpoint. Listen, I'm gonna lay down for what I've done, whatever that may be. How many years can I get? You know what I'm saying? Can you work out something where I could get 5? Can you work out something where I get 10? And that would have been it. I'm not saying nothing. You know what I'm saying? How about I just don't even fight the charge and just get a certain number of years that seem feasible, and I go on about my business.
I already sat one here. Gunna already sat 1 year, but and come out, but 30 years probation. Because I've been on probation. I mean, a long length. You have too, on a long length of our careers, and it's like the money you have to pay. Not only being on probation, I gotta come up there, pee in the cup. You gotta report every 30 days. They got, they check up on you. They want to make sure you're working.
Well, you can't get in trouble anymore. And from what I see, they might still be involved in a gang war here.
Yeah.
So
like it can't be.
It's hard to stay out of trouble when you going back to the same place. I mean, I guess you could move away, but that can be difficult unless you have a lot of money.
Yeah. for 30 years of paying the state. I think they'd be wanting like at least $100 a month, right? It was like you got to pay at least like I remember
Listen,
it was
bro,
like
I don't really know how that really works. I just know that they're in a world of trouble, and it's hard to imagine that this all started from when these guys were basically kids. If I remember correctly from what I researched, they were originally Young Thug and his guys were originally part of a gang called Raised on Cleveland, referring to Cleveland Avenue. Uh, the beef intensified between YFN and Young Thug. If you remember, it was almost like people thought YFN Lucci was telling on Thug at one point because there was attempts made on his life while he was in jail and he was speaking up about it. And now another thing to
yeah,
mention
that
too,
could have played. Yeah, that could
I
have
mean
played a
that
role
definitely
in
played a
it.
role in it. But did you know that YFN Lucci's murder case starts on the same day as Young Thug's trial?
Mm.
Yeah.
So he's going to trial on the murder. YFN.
Yeah, I mean, he's been he's on the witness list. I don't know if he's going to testify, but he got a murder case too. Like it's part of this gang war, but yeah, he's wanted for murdering somebody. Remember that story where YFN Lucci, his homeboy, got shot and they threw him out of the car?
Yeah, it was somebody from Miami too. The dudes was really from down here who he called up there. That was crazy.
Wow. So that stemming from that, I believe Young Thug's baby mom was killed. Um, there was a lot of shootings, and they're now saying that Young Thug is responsible for the murder of Big Nut. That's why the lady is really intent on solving this case for the family of Nut. She talks about that, like that's her motivation. She promised the family that she was going to get to the bottom of this, and they said that Yak Gotti was in the car, as well as two other people. So they're putting it all together. An interesting point that was raised is that if you got shot, this is what George Chitty, I hope I'm saying that right. He's a crime journalist. He's talking about YFN Lucci and all of that and the status of the case. And he brought up that anybody that's been shot during this gang war should get a lawyer because you might be entitled to compensation. That's not funny, but I mean, that's surprising to me. And I think that they might be inclined to get the money. I mean, if people are cooperating for 30 years of probation, a guy that got shot, they might be willing to testify if they could get that money out of Leo Cohen and them, right?
Right. Yeah, that makes sense.
All these people who want to come to court support Young Thug talking about, oh, it's just a record label. He's a positive dude. All right, then if it's just a record label, then I need some money because y'all was the ones you feel me responsible for this in some way. How you feel about that?
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely what it sounds like, you know.
Let me see if I could get let me see if I could find some footage of dude talking about it. I think this is about where it's out. Hold on. Let me see if I got the clip lined up right with George Chitty talking a little bit about the case. Just to give some context.
To a legal question now, legal liability, money. I wonder at what point the music labels
could be held liable.
Right. When did the labels become liable, and when do they
I paid a little thing, so you
practices
don't.
in order to limit their legal liability? Stop signing guys who are just coming out of jail. I'm going to bail you out, and here's $50,000 in a chain. Like, looking at you, Gucci Mane, when I say that. This may change music. And so when you've got Gunna standing in court saying YSL is both a gang and a label, and when you have somebody like Slime Life Shoddy saying the same thing, and arguably others who are going to plea out saying the same thing. Let me tell you, if you are a victim of violence related to this YSL, YFN war, and you're hearing this broadcast, you should probably consider calling a lawyer right now. Because you almost certainly have an actionable legal case that you didn't a week ago. The Donovan Nutt Thomas's family arguably could sue over this.
You hear that? Nutt's family could possibly sue over this, be entitled to compensation from the record label. That could change the music industry, this man says. This could change the type of people that's getting signed. And he took a little subtle shot at Gucci Mane, because I don't know if you know, Gucci Mane just signed Matt Critter, that's wanted for murder. And he just signed him weeks ago. Are you familiar with Matt Critter?
Oh, I get what y'all saying. So now you saying that, okay, we're gonna go after the label.
That's what he's saying, that they got a case because people are standing up in court and admitting that this is not just a record label, it's a violent street gang, and we committed crimes to further the gang.
Right. Yeah, it's possibly got a lawsuit there.
I mean, this is what he's saying. This guy is a experienced, criminal court journalist. They call him a crime journalist. And he seems to be on his stuff. I've been watching him for a little while. He seems to be taking a fair and balanced approach to the cases, weighing the facts. And, it's one of the guys that I turn to for a different analyst, a different analysis, I should say. So that's scary, man. That's scary.
Yeah.
And what do you think about Gucci Mane signing all of these guys that go to jail pretty quick? It seems like half of his roster is in jail. Pooh Shiesty, the name. Big Scar just overdosed. I think Fujiato is in jail.
Big Scar died?
Yeah.
He overdosed? Dang.
That's what they saying.
So, yeah, I checked out what Nino Brown said about it, and it was definitely crazy that, Gucci Mane, I mean, them people that got shot could say, hey, man, he 10-17. Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Now you can even go after the big guys. Like, okay, not even going after the YSL. Let's go after Warner Brothers. You get what I'm saying?
I mean, it could get like that. I don't know if YSL is on Warner Brothers, but whatever. Man, let me show you something, man. Since we're talking about people getting signed and committing murders and stuff like that, I came across something that I found was really interesting, because the streets is a myth. The streets is dead, and we got to start coming to grips with that, because this whole rapper thing ain't really working out for everybody. Everybody not going to be as big as Young Thug, and if your ass end up broken with a case before you even get there, I don't know if if this is a net positive. So some things that we kind of forget when we get wrapped up in these rappers and what's going on, we forget about the other people that's getting hurt. Look at this, Bob.
We're all shot up.
I don't understand. How could they let a first-degree murder go? I mean, it's no explanation for that. And he had to beg for his life, because that's probably all he was thinking about, his babies.
Days after her son's murder, Taylor says someone fired shots at her home, her sister's home, and father's home too. Taylor says her late son had 4 daughters. She fears for their life and safety.
Everybody I see now, I'm really terrified, because I don't know who is who. I don't know if they got a picture of me. I don't know if they ride around. I'm trying to keep my family safe, and I have nothing.
January 2nd, 2000. To hear that somebody was at the murder.
We were watching a clip from 1090 Jake. I definitely recommend anybody to look at his channel when you want to know you know, who's talking, want to see somebody go through paperwork and be detailed, check them out. And I'm looking at his breakdown of the charges against Matt Critter, that's Gucci Man's artist, and that was the mother of the victim describing how scared she is running away from these guys. You know, they shot up her crib. How did that kind of touch you, Bob?
Yeah, man, it's like we need to start holding somebody financially responsible. People who thinking that it's, you know, we gotta, you know, like you said, these labels. You can't just be signing these nuts, man, on the streets.
But this is the type of stuff that we like. These are the rappers that rise to the top. When they talk about murder and we believe them, that adds to the allure of their music. You know, so I kind of feel like we get the artists that we deserve sometimes. These are the guys that we feeding into. Authenticity is what it's all about. I want you to hear another part of this, right? This guy, they're saying, Matt Critter, this is alleged, everybody innocent until proven guilty. This is Gucci Man's artist.
Right.
This is who, you know, Gucci Man is who George Chitty just brought up. That's why I think that this is relevant. They're going to describe how a witness saw Matt Critter walk this guy down, but after the incident, he's behaving as if he's the guy's friend. You got to hear this. You got to hear this.
We'll post to Instagram a picture of them with the caption reading, "Long live Dimp. I got your girls forever. I love you, big brother. People in the hood hated how much I loved you. We had a bond nobody can break. I got signed. You was happier than everybody from the hood. Keep in mind, according to a witness, Matt Critter stood over Dimp just 2 days before and watched him get shot to death. At this time, the motive is unknown."
It's a dirty game, man. I'm not saying that witness accounts are 100% accurate, but if what's being alleged is true, who needs enemies with friends like this, man? You know, do you really even want to be around the type of dudes that feel like every time they got a problem, they got to pick up a gun? Every time somebody disrespect you, let's pick up a gun. Every time we make videos, let's show off guns. Where is that shit going to lead you? It can't be good. It's going to lead your ass in a case like this guy, Matt Critter, or the talented guys over there at goddamn YSL. And I got to tell you, Bob, we said we was going to talk about YSL, right? We was going to update people on where this case is, and I really kind of tuned out for a little bit. But boy, when I was looking into the details of this case, man, it's a big mess. Like we're not goddamn you know, this is not Law and Order, so I don't really like going through all these cases. It's a lot of work. I leave that stuff to, you know, George Chitty and 1090 Jake and all of that stuff. I don't like going through all that paperwork, but I mean, even in the case of Christian Eppinger, aka Briss, and YSL Obama, they got these guys on a conspiracy to commit murder. Do you know that the evidence that they got is them talking about an assault on a jail phone? Same phones that tell you that it's recorded.
So they're talking on the phone while they're locked up about it.
Yeah.
Wow.
They're trying to get the okay for a murder from King Sly. And that's why there was a pivotal moment when Young Thug was able to get his cell phone to be inadmissible in court because of the means that the police used to attain the cell phone. You know, I guess they had a arrest warrant, but that's not the same as a search warrant. So for some reason, they don't have the phone anymore. But they got witnesses that was on the phone calls. So it's almost as if they don't need the phone. I don't know what's going to happen, but it's looking bad for him. There's a mountain of evidence against this guy.
Dang.
Mountain
so
of
you
evidence
saying, so what is his chance? Give me a percentage if you think of his chance of beating this.
I'll say it like this. if there was a scale from 1 to 5, right? And on the scale from 1 to 5, 5 being the greatest confidence and 1 being the least amount of confidence, my confidence that Young Thug will beat this case is at about a 1. I'm not a lawyer. I'm just saying what I see, man. You got a lot of people cooperating against you. I don't see how you're going to be able to overcome that. And they don't seem to be like the smartest criminals ever. They got guys that was in group chats talking about murders, and they got those guys already snitching. They got matter of fact, I got another clip I watched from my dude Bruce Rivers. He's a criminal lawyer, and he gives some good takes. I got another clip from him with this guy Tick telling on Young Thug. But it's interesting about the story with Tick because I think Young Thug kind of snitched on Tick before Tick snitched on Young Thug. I didn't hear anybody bring this point up, but on a song, Young Thug says that she getting robbed by Tick. She getting robbed by Tick. I think the song is called You. And if you're saying that and it's connected to an actual crime, does that count as snitching, Bob? I mean, they're bringing it up at court.
Oh, but who is she?
I mean, they said that it's tied to an actual event, so I didn't get that deep into the weeds, but right. He says she getting robbed by Tick, and they're bringing that up in court. Hold on, just a second. I'm gonna show you something. Hold on. Let me show you something. I think we could get testimony from Tick just so you see how brazen these guys are.
It's crazy. What, you pulled it up?
What? You ain't seen it?
No.
Oh, hold on, bro. You're not watching this with me right now?
No, it's not on.
Oh, my bad, dog. Hold on, man. I'm thinking you watching this shit with me. My bad. I'm gonna show y'all Tick giving up the goods. Well, the information. Pause on that.
All right, now we see it.
Okay, my bad. Let me take it back. This Bruce Rivers, he doing a breakdown, giving his analysis and commentary, talking about people facing life. But this is Tick testifying. Let's go.
One of the founding members of Young Slum Life.
Yes.
You acknowledge that.
Oh, let me back that up a piece.
You're the same person referred to as trying to correctly.
We're going to react to a plea that was just taken against Thug here.
Mr. Stevens, if you could please state your true and correct legal name.
Trontavious Stevens.
And are you the same person referred to as Trontavious Stevens, also known as Tick and also known as Slug, on indictment 22 SC 183572?
Yes.
Do you also acknowledge that you were one of the founding members of Young Slum Life?
Yes.
You acknowledge that you are the same person referred to as Tick in the song by Young Thug entitled You, in the verse She Getting Robbed by Tick?
Yes.
You also acknowledge that on February 4th, 2021, you participated in a group chat with fellow YSL founder Jeffrey Williams, aka Young Thug, and YSL associates Wooney Lee, aka Slime Life Shorty, wherein Jeffrey Williams stated, YSL rule the world, kid. Y'all just start bringing me the money. Man, y'all stop playing with me. Do you acknowledge that?
Yeah.
Do you acknowledge that on May 13, 2021, you participated in another group chat with fellow YSL founder Jeffrey Williams, aka Young Thug, and YSL associates Martinez Arnold, Miles Farley, Quantavious Greer, Antonio Sumlin, Wooney Lee, wherein Jeffrey Williams asked, y'all ain't beat him up or shot him yet? Then states, y'all getting soft.
Yes.
Do you acknowledge that the gas station at 151 Cleveland Avenue is a location where YSL associates sell?
Yes.
That also the gas station at 221 Cleveland Avenue is a location where YSL associates sell drugs?
Yes.
So the whole purpose of
Whoa. What's your reaction to that?
Yeah, that's deep, man. He gave it away.
I'd say
That's the one that got the 30-year probation.
I don't know how much probation they gave him, but they must be giving him something for him to be talking like that.
That's what I'm saying. It's like it's almost like they can get him to say whatever they want him to say right now.
Yeah, I mean, that is a tactic that the courts use. We know that. I mean, we've been victims of that.
Right.
They'll just kind of get you to plead out because you being in jail is so inconvenient. You'll plead out to almost anything if it means you could get out of jail at that moment and get back to your family if you're desperate.
But them probation, I mean, Gunna got 5 years probation. All of them, they'll rather have you out here on these streets paying them. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. They certainly will. So, I mean,
They don't want to keep you in there because they know it's like it's crazy.
I actually want to show you something else. When we talk about record labels being held liable, I want to direct everybody's attention to something that happened very recently. All right. This story was everywhere. Jury orders Sony to pay $160 million for underground Atlanta mass shooting. I don't know why I said it. Underground Atlanta mass shooting. In November 2017, a gunman entered a rap concert in downtown Atlanta armed with a gun and fired into the crowd. 4 patrons were shot and 2 ultimately succumbed to their injuries. In light of the fatalities, a wrongful death lawsuit was filed against the venue, Sony Music and Live Nation. On Thursday, December 15th, a jury in DeKalb County finally issued a verdict and awarded the families $160 million, $80 million for each family. Sony Music Holdings Incorporated will ante up the payment for its failure to protect patrons at the rap concert held at Underground Atlanta over 5 years ago. So I ain't gonna read the whole thing. I encourage everybody. This is Celebrity Access. They had a story, but there's a lot of sources for that story. That was a major story. Look into that. If you think that a record label can't be held liable for some shit that they didn't actually do, you better think again. People are very litigious these days, and just like George Shitty was saying, I don't want to keep saying it again. If they're proven in court, they got people testifying that this is not just a record label, it's actually a criminal enterprise.
Right.
You got a case against them, and it got legs if you was hurt in any way. So that's a lot of money.
Right. I think that's a good. I like that they going after the big record labels because they sign it. Yeah, I think that's a good way to go. I think that's a good way to clean this thing up. I think they're gonna be more cautious on what type of artists they giving that bag to, and if they are acting stupid, we going that if your rap concerts and all of this is getting we going after y'all because y'all definitely is benefiting big off of all of this pain, right?
Yeah, man, you got to just be a little bit more responsible about what you're putting out there into the atmosphere. I don't think that this is a net positive for the community at this point. Same thing. I got similar feelings about football lately, man.
What you mean?
Like, sports is something that I've enjoyed coming up since a kid. Hip hop, I love hip hop and everything like that. But now I'm looking at hip hop and I'm looking at football. It's like When I'm thinking about from the community aspect of it, from the standpoint of the community,